This kid got blasted by live wires at age 2, nearly hacked his toe off with an axe at 5, and got swallowed by a massive rip current at 7. A young Michael Jordan literally played tag with the Grim Reaper. Yet somehow he cheated death every single time. Talk about having the ultimate rookie protection mode. Back in 1963, Jordan was born in the heart of Brooklyn, New York. He was a certified wild child growing up. At just 2 years old, he was looking for trouble one day. Watching his pops James work on the car out back, he saw 2 loose wires dangling there, and just had to grab them. No clue those wires were packing high voltage. The shock sent his tiny body flying back. Jordan was knocked out cold instantly. The wild part is, he woke up like nothing ever happened. It was like a scene from a movie. Unlocking some secret power inside of him, the invincible Jordan era had officially begun. At 5, MJ grabbed an axe from the shed, trying to chop wood just like the big men. His folks warned him to keep his hands off, but he snuck out with it anyway. He took a massive swing at a piece of timber, but his hand slipped. The axe head went wild, missed the wood by a mile, and slammed straight into his toe. He let out a blood-curdling scream. Luckily, it only grazed the very tip, an inch over, and that would have been a wrap. At 7, Jordan went behind his parents' back, hit the beach near Wilmington to catch some waves. Just when they were having a blast, a massive wave crashed down on them, sucking them both under in a heartbeat. Jordan panicked, clawing his way back to the sand. He barely made it out alive. But his friend was not so lucky. The ocean dragged him into the deep, and he never came back up. That trauma stayed with MJ for the rest of his life. At 13 years old, the family moved to a quiet northern town. The young rebel got hooked on motorcycles, trying to pull off every stunt he saw on TV. One day he wiped out and landed in a ditch, getting chewed up by the gravel. He tried to play it off, wrapping his bloody legs in old rags, but his dad saw right through it. James was absolutely livid, and sold that bike before Michael could blink. Looking back on his wild streak, his mom Dolores remembered it well. Michael was the most hyper kid in the entire house. He always had to be the center of attention. If something was going down, he was diving in head first. He needed more guidance than anyone, and lived to push the boundaries. To keep him off the streets, James Jordan had an idea. He set up a hoop in the backyard, and that is when the obsession began. He started with simple jumpers and handles, but every time he saw that ball go through, the sound of that net popping gave him a high he could not find anywhere else. He stayed in that yard grinding all day. But at night, it was war with his big brother Larry. Larry was a tank and played with heavy force, using that bully ball to dominate Michael every night. Back in the day, Michael got cooked on that court regularly. He had no answers for his big bro. To young Michael, Larry was the real GOAT, and that is the real reason he eventually chose the number 23, because that number was roughly half of Larry 45. He figured if he could be half as good, he would be lucky. But then nature took over. Michael's height began to explode. While Larry stayed at 5'8", soon Larry could not hold him anymore. It was around this time that Jordan hit high school. Once he stepped on campus, the pure talent was undeniable. When the varsity roster came out, Jordan thought he was a lock, but the coach left him off the list. They said he was too small to play at that level. So the 5'10" Jordan was demoted to JV, while his friend Leroy Smith, who did not have half the game, made varsity just because he was 6'7". That rejection broke Michael's heart. He ran home, locked his door and sobbed his eyes out. But that pain became the ultimate fuel. Next, he was going to prove how wrong they all were.